Good evening, and welcome to another catastrophic version of Diatribes from the voice of Doom. Now here's your Kama Aina from Kalanianioli Highway, voice of Doom. Hello. Alright, I'm sorry about the last diatribe. It wasn't that good. I kind of laughed at myself a little bit, but it wasn't quite as satirical as I wanted it to be, but I'll do better. And I wanted to do a quick diatribe today for my fan. Talk about some things that are on topic and some things that are off topic. But the off topic things are the most interesting. Because when they go off topic, that means that people want to brush it under the rug. That is getting to be a very big pile, very big hump, to where the rug is not comfortable. But I didn't want to really delve into Maui too much because we've all seen the destruction, but Petri Dish saw fit to spend 5 or 6 hours over there before hopping back to Tahoe to finish his vacation. And he blew it as usual. He was terrible. And luckily the Hawaiians are kind of lackadaisical and kind of, don't really register things right away. So they probably didn't realize that their beloved D, who they voted for a century now, is a failure and a miserable wretch. But he had to do the same old shtick. I know what you're going through. I had a fire in my house. It was a kitchen fire, and it almost killed my wife and cat and almost destroyed my 67 Corvette. But all kidding aside, I mean, the guys just dismiss him as nothing. And the fact that he may be reelected to the presidency shows just how bad we are as a populace. We're hopeless. And we deserve what we have coming. But a few things occurred to me about Maui. First of all, I've heard these snippets and snappets of incidences that happened there, that if true means that we are in a whole different ball game. I don't want to pontificate too much about it. I don't know the details, but it seems like FEMA people were burying bodies, and they were caught by either National Guardsmen or someone in the armed services, some unit, and there was some sort of a firefight between FEMA and the U.S. forces. And then the FEMA guys said, we give up, and let us go. Now, what becomes of that, I don't know, but if anything of it is true, then we're talking about the fact that Maui is the powder keg. Maui is the final incident that brings about the entire conflagration that I've been talking to you about for 2 years. Because people are ready to say, not people, but the powers that be are ready to say, it's, let's let loose the dogs, let's pull out all the stops. We've destroyed a major island in the Hawaiian chain, which is a state of what used to be the United States, and to make room for the elite that will live there as soon as 6 billion people are killed. So, another idea that occurred to me is, I've been to Lahaina, and it is about 10 feet from the largest body of water on the planet Earth. Now, they were having hems and haws about whether to use certain water. There was a 5-hour delay in water, fresh water, getting to the fires because the guy wanted to have equity and environmental social governance, so he's like, well, can I use your water to put out these massive fires because I know you need it for your crops, and you're a Hawaiian, you're a indigenous person, and we don't want to step on your toes. Now, any Hawaiian, I don't care who they are, I've known Hawaiians, they will say, take whatever water you need, get the frickin' fires out. And it occurred to me that if you are next to the largest body of water on the planet Earth, and I'm not sure, I'm not a biologist, I'm not a chemical engineer, but I think salt water will put out a fire as easily as fresh water. Now, don't quote me on that, but I believe it's true. And it seems to me that if they had had boats, fire boats, or some sort of apparatus in place ahead of time in Hawaii to cover every island where you can speed boats with pumps and hoses, then Lahaina never would have burned down, because it's like 2 feet from the shore. Now come on, Pacific Ocean, 10 trillion quadrillion tons of water 10 feet away, and you can't put out the fire. Now come on, let's get with it, okay? I think this Maui thing is the final straw that will show people that they're getting ready for the new order. And the new order does not include us common clays. If we're going to still be around, we're going to be around as slaves and not as human beings trying to pursue happiness. No, that's only for the elite. You can already see how the elite want to live with their yachts and their trips and their cruises, traveling the world. So I don't know how that is logistically going to play out, but AI will do most of the hard work and they will simply reap the benefits. Well, let's go on to some off-topic subjects. Fit as much in here as I can. Does anybody know who these people are? I'm going to read off a bunch of names. You tell me if you know who they are. It's a little quiz. I bet you only get 1 out of 6. Nicholas Roski, Audrey Hale, David DePape, Travis Ikiguchi, Craig Robertson, Ray Epps. Now, tell me how many you got. I think maybe 2 out of 6 if you're lucky. I'm going to tell you who these people are and what's going on with them because nobody else seems interested. I've gone onto the internet. Nothing since 2022. Nicholas Roski was a guy who was in with Antifa and Black Lives and everything else, and he was one of those wokester anarchists that plotted to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh because of this abortion business. And instead of just saying, I have all this stuff in my backpack, but maybe I don't want to do it and I'll just go home, watch some TV or play a video game. No, he calls the police and says, I was going to kill this guy, but I want to turn myself in. All right. That was October 22nd, 22 was the last disposition of his case when he was set for trial, which will come sometime in the 2030s. Okay, so we forget about him because he's a wokester that wanted to kill a Supreme Court justice who's conservative, and that doesn't fit into the narrative of the idiots. Audrey Aiden Hale, a transgendered person who shot up a school and killed a bunch of people and then got killed. And She wrote a big long manifesto that nobody seems to want to allow the public to see. Now why? What does it say on there that they don't want people to see? She's a wokester, she's transgender, she's everything that should be the perfect immaculate conception of what a person should be. And she shoots a bunch of kids. And then she gets killed. And her manifesto says what? That she hates religion? What difference does that make? It might say some things that they just don't want anyone to know about. Just opinions. It doesn't have to be true. She can blame anybody for anything. Or he, or whatever they want to be. David DePape, you should know, he was the hammerer. He's still cooling his heels in jail. He will probably be tried in January. That should be very interesting. The last thing I heard on the internet was that they're allowing the defense lawyers to investigate the home of Pelosi and her husband, so they know the layout for what happened when it's already been shown what happened. The door was open, the police were there, they caught him on camera wielding a hammer against the husband of Pelosi. Both in their underwear. God knows how that situation happened, but you can conjecture all kinds of things, can't you? Does anybody know who Travis Ikiguchi is? Very surprising, because this guy is an anti-LGBTQ RSTU, anti-police, and was fatally shot when he opened fire on police after killing a woman for displaying an LGBTQ flag. Now this guy's a reactionary, and he's got a Japanese last name, which is very strange. Because Japanese people, by and large, other than the Yakuza and all those guys, and Japanese, Asian gangs who are vicious, but by and large, Japanese people don't go out and, shoot people because of their supporting a gay agenda. That is very anathema to their culture. And yet Travis Ikiguchi did shoot someone, and he was all over the map on politics, but he's dead, so forget him. Craig Robertson, does anybody know who that is? He was killed in Utah because he made threats against Petri dish. Now, this guy was on a suicide mission, and he's probably fed up with everything, and he makes threats on the internet. And then they come and investigate, and he pulls out a weapon and is killed. So anybody that goes against Petri dish or his ilk, their fate is sealed. But did anybody know that he had a 2018 confrontation with the self-same FBI type people coming to his door? He had an altercation, and he held his gun down. He had a gun in his hand, and it's a state where you can stand your ground, so they didn't file any charges against him in 2018. But you see what happens later. Ray Epps, an innocent scapegoat, a total victim of January 6th. He incited crowds of people to storm the Capitol and then tried to stop them from going there because he realized that he was starting a ruckus. And he's an FBI agent, or he's not an FBI agent, or he's a deep state, or he's a smole, or he's a spy, or he's a patriot, or whatever the hell you want to call him. But the hundreds of people that were arrested for January 6th, and if you look on the list, there's an NPR list of the disposition of all those people. And most of them are either awaiting trial or they're in jail after being found guilty for trespassing. Now, this Ray Epps was a ringleader, and apparently he's got celebrity status now, and we can just forget about him being involved in any malfeasance. So I just wanted to go through that list of people to see if you remember them. I want to see what happens with all these cases. I want to see what happens to Nicholas Roski and what his defense will be for his attempt on Kavanaugh. I want to see the manifesto of Audrey Aiden Hale, see what she had to say, what her philosophy was for why she killed a bunch of kids. I want to see what happens with the hammering. I'm very interested in that. It'll be a very interesting trial. I'm sure it won't be televised. I want to see what they do with Ray Epps, which they'll probably just make him into an MSNBC host, and we'll leave it at that. And the other two are dead, so we won't worry about them, because they went against the grain. So that's it. I didn't say a whole hell of a lot. I think I gave you a little to think about, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks, everybody.